What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Surfing the Stream, where every week we are on a quest to find out what is the greatest movie of all time. I am Matt Primo, joined by Josh Primo.
What's up, bitches?
This week we are reviewing a movie that I'm going to be completely honest. I was shooketh might be a little bit of an exaggeration of what I was, but I was very surprised that Josh he gave me a handful of movies and this was on the list. And I gotta say, I wasn't. I had watched this movie like last year, and it I can't sit here and say that I was just like, oh yeah, I want to fucking review 300, okay? But I was more interested in hearing Josh's opinion on this fucking movie. I was like, you know what? There are better movies on this list, or more interesting movies. Fuck that. We got to review 300. I have to know his opinion on this movie because this is not typically a something I would say is a Josh Primo type of movie. Man, my fucking mic.
See, I think you're fucking wrong on that.
Oh, we'll see, sir. We'll see.
M- My net is casted wide. Yours is pretty fucking narrow when it comes to watching stuff.
What the fuck ever. So I was thinking we probably need to go back to the time frame that it was you pick a movie and then I pick a movie, but it needs to be where the other person doesn't have a say so in the matter.
All right.
So
I
there
think that's fair.
the reason why I say that is one, it's pure selfishness on my part. I want to review different movies.
I've
but
branched
two,
out, motherfucker.
but
Just
two,
because I didn't watch your fucking shark movie last week, this guy is all fucked up on
oh,
me.
I said it one time. I was like, "You want to watch this?" I'm not really into Jaws. I'm like, "Are you fucking communist?" Like, what?
I mean, I've
Who the fuck
seen
doesn't
it.
like Jaws?
It's a good flick, but I've sat through more Jake Gyllenhaal and fucking Ben Affleck movies for
Hey, I
you,
can't help. I
motherfucker.
can't. I can't help it that they make good movies.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So, on the other hand, I think it would bring some diversity to the podcast to have different movies. And hey, it's gonna broaden my horizon a little bit. We're gonna watch a lot of shitty B-rated movies, and you know what? That's just part of the game. I'm just gonna have to deal with it.
I mean, to be fair, you have fucked me out of two movies.
Which ones are those?
Uh, I don't remember. I know the fucking scene if I would see it. It's
You mean the two movies that we watched and we just watched it and never got a chance to review it?
let's say I watched it and you never reviewed it. It was the
That
one
was
you went to
the.
Disney. Boone, I think it was.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that's because you didn't watch it, dick.
I do remember we watched No Country for Old Men, and I was super fucking excited to review that, and our schedules just didn't align. I was disappointed.
That was, I wish I could refute the B. I do like B-rated movies for some reason.
You do, you
I
do.
fucking love B-rated movies.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna try my best to get some new diversity up on here, but just know there's gonna be some bullshit in the middle of it.
But you would have never seen that Western if I wouldn't like B-rated movies.
Hey, I will completely own that. I would never have watched it if you hadn't said, "Let's do it this week."
So 25 out of 1's not bad. Or 1 out of 25, I guess.
But just know we finna watch a lot of Tom Cruise movies here in the next couple weeks.
Oh, why am I not surprised?
Speaking of which, next week it's a movie that I had heard of, but I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted to watch it. I mean, I was gonna have to watch it eventually, but I didn't know if it was gonna be something that we were gonna end up reviewing or not. And then I kept hearing some more like chatter online, and then they compared it to John Wick, and I was like,
This guy
I
sound, Acting like he's John Wick. I heard cheddar on the fucking black line.
I heard it. I heard it on the police scanner. And that is the movie Sisu. It is about a farmer or a miner or some shit. He finds gold, and then the Nazis come and take it from him, and then he goes all John Wick on them. This happened in like World War II. So super excited to watch and review that next week. But we are here to check out 300 this week. So let's go ahead and start reviewing that. My God, dude, my fucking mic is just all fucked up today.
Probably hot. It's all
No,
sad.
it's just like I can't put it close to my mouth.
Well,
I don't even know what to say to that.
I have a very inappropriate joke, but I'm gonna leave it there. It'll just get cut. But it has to do with your microphone.
All right, 300. I know where you're going with
that.
Yeah. So King Leonidas of Sparta and a force of 300 men, go figure, fight the Persians at Thermopylae in 480 BC. This movie is directed by Zack Snyder. I'm trying to think, other than Batman versus Superman, have I reviewed any other Zack Snyder movies? Army of the Dead, I've reviewed that. Justice League. He also directed Sucker Punch, Legend of the Guardians, Watchmen, and Dawn of the Dead. It has a budget of $65 million, and it grossed $456 million. It stars Gerard Butler, Lena Headey, David Wenham, and Dominic West. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 57 minutes, and it was released March 9th, 2007. So, fun fact, this is, before we even get into the review, and it's not necessarily indicative of how I feel about the movie, but this is like one of the memories that I have about working at the theater, because I started working at the theater in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. 2006, the end of 2006. So I'd only been at the theater for a few months, and this movie came out, and it was just huge. I remember staying late one night after closing to watch this movie. One, because I was not old enough to go watch it. Two, it was just one thing. I couldn't go on my own time and watch it.
Were the floors sticky?
Well, you're not going to catch me in a lie. So, yeah, I did see this movie in theaters, technically. Technically not old enough to see it at the time. But it is definitely one of my memories of working at the theater. And, for better or for worse, working at the theater was a lot of fun, even if you weren't making shit pay and whatever. But regardless, this was a good time at the theater. But jumping into the fun facts, the entire principal cast underwent a rigorous 8-week training program to obtain the six packs that you see on every single motherfucker in this movie. And that was to present themselves as the most well-trained and marshaled fighting force of all time. On the other hand, Gerard Butler spent 4 hours a day for 4 months to get in shape to play Leonidas. I'm just curious. Could you do that?
Let's say spend 12 hours a day.
Let's say I don't know how much you got paid for this movie, but let's say you're making $1 million. Because I don't think he was a huge time actor, if anything, before this movie. He was not known at all. So we'll say $1 million. It probably wasn't that much. Would you just get ass whipped every day for 4 months?
I get ass whipped for fucking less.
He's so right.
Way less.
I hate that you're so right. And 4 hours a day, fuck you, I'll do it.
I could do that on my head.
Shout out. Hey.
Well, but seriously, it would probably take me about 12 hours a day in the gym to get a 12 pack or 6 pack, whatever the fuck they are.
I, I remember when the movie came out, that was the hype around the movie was, dude, everybody has a fucking 6 pack in this movie. And there was also the rumor and controversy behind the fact that they may have digitally altered all of it, but apparently that is not the case. All that is real. All the 6 packs. So you remember the Oracle scene where she's doing like,
how'd that go again?
oh, one time.
That was so fucking weird.
So by the way, if you're an audio listener, you can catch us on Spotify, watch the video of us doing this episode, or you can go to our YouTube channel, click on the link below, and then vice versa. If you're on YouTube and you want just the audio version, you don't want to look at our faces and whatnot, then click on the link below, and I'll send you to Spotify, or you can click on your favorite podcast app. So the flowing effect of the Oracle dancing was accomplished by filming that entire scene and the actress underwater.
Shit.
I was curious. I was like, how the fuck are they getting her to move like that? Or is she like fucking like limp noodle and they're just like puppet strings or what the fuck? But now it kind of makes sense. They filmed that entire scene underwater. Interesting.
Yeah, I was more focused on her being topless. Just
Moving
being
on.
real.
Moving on.
But I do have to tell you one thing. Bitches need to go buy a t-shirt from 2 Game Podcast.
Oh yeah. I was like, are you telling her she needs to go buy a t-shirt? Sir.
I was trying to do a segue.
Yes. We do have exclusive merch out there. You can find us on the link below, regardless of where you're at, or you can go to our Facebook page and click there. I've had some pretty good reviews of the shirts that have come out. I think someone's I had a couple people buy a t-shirt, the sweatshirts, or the hoodie, excuse me, and it's all pretty good quality from what I've been told. So yeah, go check that out. And also, if you look at our social media accounts, I'm going to start giving away some free digital codes for movies, Creed 3, Avatar 2, Mask of Zorro, and we're giving away a bunch of other stuff as well over the next few weeks. So go follow us on Facebook and share this, or come support us at patreon.com/2game. That is the number 2. That is going to be the best way that you get your digital codes or other exclusive merchandise. This movie was shot in chronological order, which I think chronological order. So it was from the beginning to end, it was shot. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to shoot all these scenes here and then we'll shoot all these scenes over here and yada, yada. I think that was partially because everything was green and blue screen, which made it probably easy to do. But who knows? So let me ask you a question. Do you like comic book movies?
Comic book movies? I can't think of one to say I like or dislike is what I'm saying.
Oh, well, this was based heavily on Frank Miller's 1998 comic book miniseries. And this is not historically accurate, of course, but it is based on a comic book series. So there you go.
So now I like it less.
Did you?
I thought it was loosely based on historical facts.
There are some historical facts in it, like some of the things that some of the people say. It may not be necessarily in that time frame that they said it. They may have said it to another person, but some of the dialogue is hinted at being actually true, if that makes any sense. Like when old girl said, "We can speak because we give birth to real men."
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't actually say it in that particular scene. She said it to somebody else. She was talking to a Athenian girl. So
yeah, that's totally what I'd have said if I was there.
So some of the things, not necessarily accurate, but some of it kind of is. But this is the highest grossing. This was the highest grossing R-rated comic book movie ever made up until the release of Deadpool in 2016. Only 2 gallons of fake blood was used. The rest was added in post-production. And then 90% of the film was filmed with a blue screen, and then the other 10% was filmed with a green screen. There's actually one scene in the entire movie that was filmed on location, but then it was digitally altered afterwards. So I don't know what the
That's
point of
wild.
that was.
That's wild.
Wow, it looked just like Grease. I mean, no, not Grease, but whatever the fuck. You know what I'm talking about.
Dick. That's what you get.
So, anyways, jumping into our general impressions of the movie. This is the first time that Josh has seen it. This is, I've seen it several times. What do you think about 300, sir?
I like the movie. I thought it was action packed. The dialogue it did have on there, it was good. Uh, Probably my most favorite part of this, man, is there was an underlying message in there that I just picked up on. I don't know if it was meant to be that way or not, but I found it, and it just made the whole movie that much better to me. I mean, they had some pretty badass fight scenes in there. I mean, there's some stuff that, yeah, that looks pretty fake. But, hey, take some, you lose some.
What is the underlying message? What are you just gonna leave us on pins and needles over
Oh,
here?
okay. Did you want to hear it now? I didn't know if you wanted an hour later. All right, so it shows that Gerald Butler's leadership style is to lead from the front, and all his guys were willing to do any freaking thing he wanted, even though they knew they were going to die. They followed him because he was in the front, and the other dude, I don't remember his name, but he had all the shit on his face. Zeus, wasn't it Zeus or some shit like that?
Oh, Xerxes.
That was very close.
Yeah, I don't think
But
you got the E right.
did you notice he leads from the back, and his people had to carry him? So if you remember that meme that used to come out where it showed a
Yes.
leader in the front of the pack, and I just picked up on that, and I was like, that is pretty badass. And I also picked up on the message that freedom isn't free, and you get freedom from pretty much blood spilled. So
I don't think I caught on to the whole leadership thing, but now that you mention it, I think that's pretty damn accurate. And like you said, it's almost exactly what the meme is, because I think
yeah,
the meme has the dude being carried by all the men, and then the leader is actually helping them pull whatever they're fucking pulling in the meme. But I think that could be. I firmly believe in that meme and the leadership quality of that. You got to lead from the front, not from the rear, kind of thing.
100%, man, and that those guys had been led to the point where they knew at the end of the movie they wasn't going to make it out. They were going to be killed no matter what, but they wasn't running. And who was in the very front of that damn pack of 300? So I
I
think
think
that
it's
made the movie more enjoyable for me.
I think it's telling when the very end, the guy is dying and he says, it was an honor to uh die beside you. And Leonidas said he countered it and said, no, it was an honor to have lived next to yours. And I think
Yeah,
that is just what?
that was a good quote. Yeah,
Yeah. I was like,
I mean
damn.
that's a good one. That's almost up there with the fucking Braveheart freedom scream.
Right. But honestly, if you think about it, this movie is full of one-liners. Like it is like 90s action movies one-liners. And they're not like okay, some of them are cheesy, but they're like so badass at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. What was your general impression on it?
So I remember when I first watched it, like I said, back when I was 17, wasn't old enough to actually fucking go buy a ticket for this shit. I had to actually sneak in after work. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was actually one of my favorite movies at the time, and I watched it numerous times. And over the last, I don't know, 5, 7, 8 years, something like that, especially since I've started doing the podcast, I do like the movie less and less the more I watch it. And it's mainly because of Zack Snyder and his directing abilities and his style. And if you like Zack Snyder and you love the way he directs his movies and the way they look, then this is 100% a movie that you need to go watch, because arguably, other than Man of Steel, which I would not put it up there, Man of Steel is his best movie, I think. But you could argue this is his second or third best movie that he's ever directed. Like, it is a pretty good movie, but it's it's stylized very, very heavily. So if you're not into more of the stylized types of films, then this probably won't be for you. The biggest issue that I have with the movie is the more you watch it, the more you realize just how the fact that there's not a whole lot of substance to any of this. If you look at it, it is basically close-up shots of the characters. There's hardly anything in the background. I mean, sometimes they'll do wide shots and it'll show off the background and whatnot, but most of the time it's close-up shots, and they're not, especially in the battles. It's like one guy and they're shooting it, and they don't ever shoot it from the widescreen. Does that make sense?
Shout out.
Right. But with that being said, that's just Zack Snyder, I think, and the move that is going to be the biggest thing about the entire movie, on whether you like it or not, is just going to be whether you like Zack Snyder and the way he directs things. But I do like it. I still like it. I don't think it'll ever get to the point where I just dislike watching this movie. I mean, it's got some fucking badass moments. It's got one of the best moments, I would say, in film history with This Is Sparta. I mean, it's fucking badass. Not gonna lie.
I mean, I can't argue.
Now, there's one thing about that scene that I noticed this time that I wish would have changed. So This Is Sparta. The guy says, I forget what he says. He kept saying, "This is madness. This is heresy," or some shit like that. And then he looks back at his wife. Leonidas looks back at the queen, and she kind of nods at him. And then that's when he just says, "This is Sparta," and then he kicks him off the ledge. I kind of wish he never would have looked at her, because it feels almost like he thought about it for a second. I kind of wish it was just reactionary, like, you come in here and disrespect me, and then just fucking kicks him off the ledge. I think that would have worked a little bit better, but still a very iconic scene.
Would you put this in a category or class of, like, say, Braveheart, Spartacus, and Gladiator? It feels like it has that, but I mean, I know they're not all the same time period, of course, but it feels like they have that theme, the same kind of theme to it. But if you put this movie up to those, it makes it horrible. But if you don't, then it's a good movie. That made any sense.
I was like, where are you leading with this? Because the fact that you just threw this movie in comparison to those other three movies, bro, we're gonna have to stop right there.
No. It's just the ones I could think of off the top of my head that was kind of, dated back in the day, fighting and
time period war movies, kind of.
Yeah. I guess that'd have been easier to say.
I think it's too stylized to put it in comparison to those three movies, because it's very much filmed like you're reading a comic book. If you notice, there is, and another issue that I have with the movie and Zack Snyder in particular, this is one of my biggest complaints about Zack Snyder. There is an ungodly amount of slow motion in this movie. If you take out the slow motion, this movie is an hour and a half long, if that. There is somewhere between like 22 minutes of slow motion in this film. And that's like the same
legit,
thing.
like legit?
Yes.
No shit. Wow.
Yes, you take out. It's the same thing with you wouldn't know this, but when Zack Snyder re-released Zack Snyder's Justice League movie on HBO, that movie's 4 hours long. There is over 30 minutes worth of slow motion in that movie.
Damn.
Yeah, so a four
Right. A
hour
little goes a
movie,
long way.
it does. Like, I think you can use slow motion sporadically and it could be very effective, but the dude fucking uses it every 5 seconds and it's kind of annoying. It's like, bro, can we just fucking get on? Because if you think about it, there's not a whole lot of substance to the story with this and all the things that happen. It's just, for lack of a better word, it's fluffed up by fucking slow motion, the runtime.
I want to be fluffed up.
Well then, we will be
Sounds.
back after this break. So yeah, I think it's a good movie, but I do like it less and less as time goes on, and it's mainly because I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan.
It's definitely not a movie that you, even if you like the movie, I don't think it's a movie that you could watch over and over.
No,
To me,
like I
like
watched like
Spartacus,
ooh,
definitely can watch that over. Braveheart, you could watch that over.
Jupiter's cock.
Why, thank you.
No, like I said, I rewatched it last year, I believe, and that was the first time that I had watched it in a very, very, very long time. And now watching them so close together, it's it's one of those.
Oh shit, he had a stroke.
Sorry, my fucking computer went off for some reason. Watching it so close together, I'm not gonna say I was bored by it, but I could have done better. I had found better use of my time, essentially. So my thing is
Shout out.
watching it every couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, maybe. Okay, maybe, but watching it once a year, it's just not my style of movie that I like to rewatch on a regular basis.
Yeah, yeah. If I'd say if he developed the characters for in the town of Spartacus in Sparta, maybe you would have been more invested into this movie. But I think the runtime on this movie is button up on too long. So I
Yes.
I, I would disagree with adding anything, but you know,
No, we agree with that.
yeah. But you'd have to take something else out, man. I am not sitting fucking 2.5, 3 hours for that movie.
Wait, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
This movie was 2 hours long. I said it could have been he should have taken out almost all the slow motion, and if it was an hour and a half long movie, this movie would work a lot better.
Yeah, and if you would have added some substance to the village of Sparta, you know, not just a little bit you get to see how they become warriors, but the relationship between some of the actual fighters and stuff. Just a thought, but
Well, no, I'm not like the whole lack of substance to the movie is not an issue that I have with the movie by any means. Like I'm completely okay with the storytelling and all of that. I'm completely okay with that. I think they do just enough to make it an entertaining movie. It's can we just cut out like 2/3 of the slow motion and make this like an hour and a half movie? If it's an hour and a half
yeah,
movie, that thing breezes by. It's the slow motion for me that just drags it the fuck down.
yeah, I get you, I get you.
And that's my thing. It becomes to a point where you're just like, okay, are we ever gonna get to the next scene? Nope, still in slow motion. 3 hours later, still in that fucking scene. Still in the fucking scene, man. But like I said, he films it that way because he's adapting a like a graphic novel, comic book, whatever. and he's filming it like that. So I can see why he went that way. It's just for me personally, you just fucking did it too much, man. Just way too much slow motion.
Touche.
But another kind of the other things I kind of want to talk about before we close out the review. This movie, you probably won't have the same opinion because you didn't watch it back then. But when this movie came out, very stylized, completely different than a lot of movies. You could almost put it in the same category as like Sin City or something like that. You've never seen that, but you could probably put it in that category where it's super stylized and shit like that. But to me, when this movie came out, and I was thinking about it now, I feel like this movie should have been more influential than it actually is. Like, I feel like we should have seen more Like, I'm not saying this is a good idea. I'm just saying I'm surprised that more movies weren't similar to this.
Oh, I got you. Well, I mean that one spot when he yells, "This is Sparta." I mean that. I guess that was a big takeaway from that whole movie because that was every freaking where.
But I mean, in terms of like the imagery, the way it was filmed, all that. Not like the characters in it, not what they say or anything like that. Strictly the cinematography, because a lot of the movie is a lot of grays, golds, and dark blacks, and they did that on purpose, and a lot of it's very, very, very saturated. Like, can you tell some of the minor details and all the blacks? You can't, because they are fucking black as shit.
Is that racist?
No, it's not racist, motherfucker.
I was just messing with you, man. Damn. But you did say saturated, and that was kind of gross.
But no, I mean, if you look at the movie, like their beards, they're black, but you can't really tell the details within the beards. It's all saturated. Like
Now
that.
that you mentioned that, it doesn't have a whole lot of color. I didn't even pick up on that. It is
Yeah.
pretty damn dark, especially with the Hunchback of Notre Dame that was running through.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but damn.
I mean, really, Zack Snyder is the only one that kind of continues the trend of the oversight. Like, he does it in the DC movies that he directs and whatnot. The grays, the dark colors and shit like that. But I was kind of surprised with how many movies do not copy this style from this, because I don't know, back in the day, I remember a lot of people loving this movie.
It was popular. I remember it being popular.
All right. Anything else you want to say about this movie, sir?
No, I think we covered it, man. Overall, had some problems, but I think it was a good movie. I mean, if you find excuse me, if you find I think if I wouldn't have found that underlying message in the movie, I don't know if I'd have enjoyed it as much. But overall, good watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think it's a good movie. It's not a yearly watch for me, maybe not even every few years. I gave it 3 stars. I would recommend this to a certain amount, so to a certain group of people. If you have seen Zack Snyder's like Justice League, Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, those color palettes, those color tones are kind of similar to this. This is definitely more CGI heavy. Obviously, the entire movie was basically filmed green screen and blue screen. But if you are a fan of his movies, then I would recommend you go check this out. It's on where the fuck did we watch it? HBO?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or
go check it out on
Max
there.
now.
Yeah, whatever, fuck ever. We're calling HBO.
Man,
But
bro,
they're at,
it's 100. It's 105 here. And the dude is out here, long pants and a hoodie, walking outside. It's 105.
I am actively dying over here in this garage.
I'm like, what is it? And he's been out there for like 20 minutes. I'm like, what the hell is this dude doing in a sweater for? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. ADD squirrel. Yeah, I still think it's a good movie. I think there are some good action sequences in it, even though a lot of it's slow motion and a lot of it's very much close up shots. But like I said, very stylized movie. I would recommend people go check it out if you have not seen it already. 3 stars for me, sir.
I'd give it that too, sir. I mean, overall good. I didn't pick up on some of the things that you had mentioned about, but now that you talk about them, yeah, I see them, and that does bring it down. But as a first time watch, I don't think you'll pick up on those minute details.
Yeah, it's just problems I have with the director and his other
Yeah,
movies.
totally, totally.
Well, guys, let us know on our Facebook page or drop a comment below on YouTube. Like, subscribe, do all that bullshit, and let us know what you think about the movie 300. In fact, drop a comment below and tell us what movie you want us to review next. Oh, well, not next week, but like down the road, because next week we're reviewing Sisu. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That movie looks fucking
Hell
badass.
yeah, hell yeah.
I've already bought it, so it is ready to be fucking watched, sir.
Yes, please.
But yeah, guys, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/2game. Like I said, supporting us there will give you a chance to win a bunch of the things that we're going to start raffling off here over the next several weeks. Also, as far as the studio goes, it's pretty much done. I got to paint the ceiling and shit like that, but I already got my statues up and everything, so it looks a lot better than the fucking bathroom. Okay, that's all I gotta fucking say. Although it is fucking cool, it used to be pretty cool inside. Now I'm just sweating my dick off all the time. But guys, that is going to be it from us. We appreciate y'all supporting us and clicking on this video or episode and giving us a watch or listen. And we will catch y'all next week on another episode. Laters.
Buy a t-shirt, bitches.
That's right.